All right, thanks for sitting for an interview. First question, what's your name and what do you do?
So my name's Mike Hartington. I'm a developer advocate for the Ionic framework. Essentially, I go around, talk. People have questions. I'm the guy they talk to.
So you did a workshop today and you have a talk tomorrow. What was your workshop about and what's your talk about?
So the workshop today was about how to actually build an Ionic 2 app, kind of going over all the different new technologies that you have to learn about, so ES6, TypeScript, Angular 2, and then finally touching on some of the Ionic stuff. And my talk about that I'm doing tomorrow is going to be about all the new tooling that's kind of out there in the ecosystem and how crazy it kind of is right now and how we're trying to at least provide something that's decent for everybody and provide sensible defaults.
All right. In terms of the ecosystem, there are lots of sort of competing technologies now, and new frameworks are coming out every day. Where would you say, or how would you explain why Ionic 2 would be the choice for a developer or a company?
So there's some clear separations between what makes Ionic a good choice versus some other frameworks. And mostly what it comes down to is we're still using the DOM, and we're still, embracing everything that the web has, and not making any of those native calls. And the benefit of this approach is that as you develop your app, say you want to deploy to a desktop app with like Electron, or say you want to actually just deploy a mobile website, you don't have to recode that entire app for that platform. It's already available on that platform, and you can just move the code around and have it work without having to keep writing. And we want to move away from that whole code for multiple different platforms. It's not that hard anymore.
Oh, it's great. I mean, we've had this request a lot, and especially for startups or companies that have to move quickly and respond quickly to feedback from the market. The concept of omni-channel applications, where you target a desktop, mobile web, and also the actual applications in the App Store. How is Ionic 2 different from Ionic 1, and does it support more of a sort of, if someone had a mobile-first strategy, is it possible to create the web application as well with it?
Right. So first, how is Ionic 2 different from Ionic 1? At an eye level, it's the same framework. Everything that has been in Ionic 1 that developers have grown to love over the years, is still there in V2. It's just some cosmetic changes, maintenance underneath, and adopting Angular 2 and everything ES6 and TypeScript. What was the second part of the question?
Omni-channel applications, where if you have like mobile as your central platform, but you also want to deploy it to a website.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we've been concerned about, especially with stuff like Electron and being able to just deploy that and have that whole process work the same as you would expect a traditional web app. Yeah. That's definitely been stuff that we have considered. Obviously going with the mobile first kind of approach and how we scale that up as you reach the larger screen resolutions, and how to not only just have different media queries, but have the actual component adapt to fit the larger resolution. So obviously something like a mobile transition doesn't really make sense on a desktop platform, but stuff like that can be easily customized and used to fit the desktop. So,
what is the process for companies that have built an Ionic 1 app that are interested in moving to Ionic 2 for migration?
So that process is actually pretty good. There's never going to be one solution that's going to fit for any one product. Every app is different. So adopting things like TypeScript, making sure that you're following all the best practices, Todd Motto or John Papa's style guides for how you organize all your Angular 1 or Ionic 1 components, make sure that that view's controller and all its styles are kind of relatively close together, adopting things like controller as, that gets everyone in a good direction. So when they have to go back and convert for Angular 2, the process becomes a lot easier, and it's essentially just deleting code. Again, adopting things like TypeScript, so you can automatically take advantage of that ES6 style class syntax and have that proper module system already in place. So there are ways that you can get prepared for that, but it's all going to depend on what app you're doing.
There's been just so much activity in the mobile and JavaScript world. What has been the most exciting thing in the last year for you in JavaScript and or mobile?
The most exciting thing, probably seeing ES6 like finally ratified, and seeing that actually start to become a almost standard on browsers nowadays, especially like Microsoft's Edge, Chrome, Firefox. That's just been probably one of the most exciting things to see that all that ready. And what I'm looking forward to for like the new versions of JavaScript in 2016 is how we go from here. Like we have like async await possibly coming, and what direction is that going to go in? We have things like decorators, which Angular 2 heavily takes advantage of. Is that going to become a standard? So I got two things that I'm really looking forward to.
All right. Thank you very much.